I wish they would take the idea of Italia and take it into something a little more domestic-friendly for America, like personify the United States Senate. Now here's every episode. New York, Texas, and California are in a constant three-way strangle over who represents America more. What are they arguing about? What are they going to put on their pizza? Avocado, sirloin steak, salmon. Nobody talks to New Jersey. Ever. They do their best. Shut up, shut up, New Jersey. Wyoming never shows up to the meetings, and nobody notices. Nobody can tell North and South Dakota apart. They just call them the Host Club twins. West Virginia is a little parrot on top of Virginia's shoulder. Whatever he said, whatever he said. North Carolina and South Carolina share a desk and can't keep their crap together. Alaska is cold to everyone. Florida will not come to the meetings because he is New York's retired, bitter old grandfather. Also, the meetings are not air-conditioned. Yeah, and Arizona is being a complete douche-off and blocking the door so no one can get in. Arizona is just checking everyone's ID. Who are you? Ooh, you know me. It's me, Delaware. I'm like the first state ever. Yeah, more like the first to bring in illegal immigrants. Get out of here. Who the heck are you? Dude, don't play this. It's me, your neighbor, New Mexico. I've been like next to you for like ever. How do I know you're not a spy for old Mexico? I see you trying to sneak in Puerto Rico. Hey! Get your car off the front lawn! And in the corner is poor little Louisiana, covered in garbage, covered in trash, covered in tar, covered in blood. Why doesn't anybody help me? And New Jersey walks over, welcome to my world. And Iowa is always waving his hand in Iowa, what? Oh, is it an election year? Caucus! Soy! But mostly corn! My friends and I were so into first-person shooters. We've been doing like video games for the longest time. And they told me the weirdest thing. They told me that first-person shooters now have the best plot lines. Like BioShock was one of my favorite games. But I'm like, no. The only option that you get in a first-person shooter is, do I kill you with the bullets or the laser beam? It's a linear story. Like the plots to all your great first-person shooters. The plot to Doom. Demons! The plot to Half-Life. Aliens! BioShock. Steampunk gypsies! Shoot him, get him wet! This ridiculous part. I'm not going to say that video games are at all good for the American psyche. Video games don't make me violent. Threatening to take away the video games. That's when I'm going to turn the Wiimote to a little garrote wire. You plug the Wii back in. But they're trying to weed us off of the violent video games. Like when Japan released the Poké Walker, the brilliance of the Poké Walker, the Tamagotchi treadmill. Here's the idea. It's gaydar for geeks. You play Pokemon, you put a Pokemon in the Pokedex, hook it to you. Whenever you're close to one, like at a convention, it'll beep off, it'll let you know. It's like Highlander. I found another. We must duel to the death. I'll be right back. And you go off into a little corner, you get them close, don't let them touch. Don't let them touch, it's gay if they touch. And you come right back. What happened? Nothing, keep walking. The idea is, the more you walk, the more you level up your Pokemon. They have taken a psychologically addictive video game and made it a physical activity.
I know.
That's the peak of Japanese engineering. Yes, America's peak in engineering was duct taping them to dog collars and Little League soccer players. We are America. We have a bacon and cheese sandwich between two chicken breasts. Deep fried. Nice try, Japan. No one can make us thin. We made beer cans wider so more beer could come out faster gooder. Japan doesn't even have any pant size after 36. After 36, here be dragons. You fall off the edge of the pants. waistline that big. It doesn't happen. It's Japan. A B cup is voluptuous.
Yeah.
Lips. I finally got to see The Expendables that came out this year. I loved it. The Expendables, for anyone who grew up in the 80s with those hardcore action movies that were actually about action and not people dressed in all black in a dark room with a shaky cam. Snap, what did Jet Li just do? The whole point of The Expendables is every action movie star got together in Sylvester Stallone's treehouse and just wrote themselves into a movie. The best part is with all those action stars, you can't understand a word they're saying. The only people you understand are the ones speaking Spanish. Let's just go. What? But they missed out on a couple, and I thought I would wrap things up with a tribute to the ultimate 80s final attack. That is something that did not get used in The Expendables. But of course we need a big-ass villain for all the action movie stars of the 80s to fight. Give him a British accent. Make him rich, put him in a blimp hovering above an American city. Have him, lighting a cigar off of a burning American flag. We gotta do something about the patriotism. We're apparently being attacked. And he's kidnapped a bunch of orphans and supermodels. No, orphan supermodels. There we go. And he says the line that gets everyone murdered regardless. No one can save you now. One person does hear this. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood picks up the phone and calls Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And between the two of them, they pick up the three quintessential cars of the 1980s. The Batmobile, the Ghostbusters Ecto-1, and Doc Brown's DeLorean. They pick up all three cars and launch them at such a speed that they meld together in midair as they leap off the ramp toward the danger zone. They take the highway off of it. It's perfectly fine. The car smushes together and becomes one ultimate car, the Ecto-Bat-Lorian. The only man bad enough to drive that, the ultimate cop, Bruce Willis. Who now has a gigantic head of brown hair and knows that he's not dead, with RoboCop riding shotgun. The Ecto-Bat-Lorian is going up at such a speed that the villain sees it and he launches a bunch of red missiles wearing Russian fur caps at the Ecto-Bat-Lorian. So Bruce Willis stands up in the sunroof and deflects the missiles using the ultimate symbol of Philadelphia. A cream cheese stuffed cheesesteak wrapped in a salt pretzel and dipped in Italian water rice. This is Philadelphia. We have flavors like strawberry and raspberry. So as that happens, suddenly the cast of Final Fantasy and children appear in midair. Because the engine is running low, because the engine is powered by Chuck Norris and Steven Seagal kicking it. So Tifa, Barrett, Sid, Yuffie, but never King Sith. All grab the car and just launch it upward. And the Ecto-Bat-Lorian bursts into flames of pure manliness like Gurren Lagann, to the point where the air conditioner is just blowing out stinks. And the radio gets stuck on Metallica. And the Ecto-Bat-Lorian bursts wings of fire. And the fire is Sean Connery and Harrison Ford, who grab every Disney pretty boy wannabe superhero by the scruff of their Dolce & Gabbana polo shirt and say, "Get off my genre." Headbutt. The roof of the Ecto-Bat-Lorian are the two quintessentials, Mr. T and Hulk Hogan, who hold up an enormous great bow, and they pull back an arrow together, because it's a buddy thing. They're going to smash pecs later on, judge arms later on. And the arrow's tip is Bruce Campbell's chin. No, the arrow is made from Bruce Campbell's... The arrow is Bruce Campbell. Launch the arrow made of Bruce Campbell at such a speed, it goes supersonic, it breaks through the blimp and everything explodes, and it saves Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's right. So much badass was used in one attack, time itself has had its butthole ripped anew. Time is not happy about this. And everyone gets saved. All the action heroes of American movies past come out of the time warp and just start drop-kicking Nazis and ninjas and beatniks and zombies and hipsters all together. Everyone comes out of it because the Ecto-Bat-Lorian was something that made Twisted Metal look like Super Mario Kart. Everyone comes out of the time loop. John Wayne, Humphrey Bogart, Bruce Lee, James Dean, Marlon Brando, and The Rock before he cut off his scrotum and handed it over to Disney. All these symbols of badass badassery-ness, or drop-kicking people left and right, and throwing halos that are made of barbed wire and broken whiskey bottles. And all the orphans and all the supermodels get saved, and everyone is reunited with their wife and their daughter, and America gets universal health care, and everyone gets the ending to Neon Genesis Evangelion, and every blogger gets carpal tunnel syndrome, Sarah Palin gets laryngitis, and Glenn Beck explodes. But we zoom out from this enormous pile of manliness to learn that this whole time it has simply been a hangnail off of the pinky of the man your man could smell like. Who is on a horse? I want to thank you guys so much for joining me at New York Comic Con. My name's Uncle Yo. I gotta go. I got CDs, I got DVDs if you want. We're hosting the Cosplay Masquerade later tonight. You guys stick around. This is Comic Con. It's all here for you. Thank you so much.
I can't clap.